Hey, good morning, everybody. This is First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Petters. Quick update on our winter storm heading our way. We're going to see some light snow in the Charlotte area, and even the light amounts that could develop this afternoon and especially this evening could cause some slick roadways. The timing, as well as the fact that it's going to occur on some really cold roads, big time issues we could see this evening, even with light amounts. So winter weather advisories have been expanded to Union County, Chester, Lancaster, Chesterfield counties, and I would expect Richmond, Anson, and Stanley County to be added to this list, if not in a couple minutes or maybe in a couple hours. You can see what's going on. The backside of the snow is moving up towards Augusta, Georgia. Now, I have the surface reports on here because even though the radar will show precipitation, doesn't mean it's always making it to the surface. So the stuff around Augusta is not making it to the ground yet. It is down here in southern Georgia. Along the coast, it is an icy, rainy mess. All kinds of ice going on near the coast. Now, the concern is that this batch of snow is going to come up here and probably scoot some of these counties just to the south and east of Charlotte. And even in Charlotte, I think there's a pretty good possibility we could see some snow move into the Charlotte area. So let me just show you the Futurecast, because this is going to be all about short range and nowcasting, because it's literally just watching how the storm develops. So we'll be looking at the short range models quite a bit here. You can see this little appendage of snow coming up towards the Charlotte area. Now, a couple things to watch for. If the low really cranks up out here, that could keep the moisture closer to the coast. And remember, the air over here is really dry. So how much of this is actually going to make it to the ground? Probably going to be a struggle for it to get to the surface. But even if it does, and it's very, very light, remember, it's really cold in here. Ground is about 30, 35 degrees. So it's going to melt on roads as the tires drive over, then it's going to refreeze. So you're basically looking at what amounts to icing on the roads, even with a dusting to a half an inch. So you got to be really cautious with this. So this is going into this evening. This is about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Excuse me, 8 o'clock. This is 7 o'clock here, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11, 12, midnight, 1 a.m. So you see the time frame, it's really the rush hour, and that's why we're seeing the winter weather advisories, because the timing of that little thing moving through is problematic. For that reason, I've expanded my trace to 1 inch amounts for most of our southeastern counties, basically in here, maybe 1 to 2 in eastern Richmond and Chesterfield. I think there's an outside chance of that. This is going to be really fluffy, light snow. It's not going to be a ton of moisture with it, so it won't take much to really pick up a quick dusting to 1 inch, maybe even a inch and a half in some locations. So what I'm really watching is not only the radar, but the water vapor and satellite imagery. We've got this short wave coming down through Alabama. It's going to help intensify this low, and you can see what's going on here. Look at the explosion of clouds off the east coast of Florida, northern Bahamas. This is where the low is likely going to crank up. Now, depending on how close to the coast it is and how strong it gets out here, it might rob some of the moisture back here, but there's going to be a little bit of, there's going to be some kind of snow band that develops back in here. Just a question of where. It could be I-95, closer to the coast, and maybe just dusting the Charlotte metro area. But I really still think this is mostly an eastern North Carolina issue. For us, the snow that is coming obviously is something to keep an eye on, but it's mainly because of the road surface. It's more of an impact-driven event than it is about a whole bunch of snow. So all day long, I'll be watching the radar and the satellite. That's what we'll be keeping an eye on, to see how this thing cranks up, to see the, where we're going to see this snow develop, because one of the things I like to look at is surface observations a lot, to see none of this is reaching the ground. I mean, we have a bunch of obs here. It looks like you got to get to about right here before you start to see that snow reaching the ground down in here. So there's a little bit of an offset because of how dry the atmosphere is back to the northwest. The dew points in here, we're in the single digits. It looks like the dew points have to get closer to about 10 to 15 degrees before the snow is able to saturate the ground or air enough to get to the surface. So that'll be something to watch too, is how the dew points come up. The dew points will come up. That will allow for the snow to get down to the surface. Now, temperature-wise, it's plenty cold enough for snow, folks. This will be all snow with the thick clouds overhead today. So it's not a matter of rain, snow, sleet. It's just going to be snow or no snow. Pretty much, the sharp cutoff, you can see actually some sun out on the backside of this. So watching this develop today is going to be pretty interesting to see. We're in kind of nowcasting mode. We kind of look at the short range models, but it's really watching satellite and radar. I'll tell you, watching this is mesmerizing to see where this heavy plume of moisture, and you're starting to see some of that over northern Florida and the Georgia and South Carolina coast. So this will be something to watch throughout the afternoon. So please be aware if you're traveling this evening. Time frame is evening rush, 5, 6, 7 o'clock this evening into the overnight hours. Anything that falls could cause slick roadways.